Alrighty then. What is going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Hello, hello. Welcome to our Monday night online show, the BWOMS broadcast, the Monday night online open mic, the stay-at-home open mic. It has many names, but you found us. You're here. So whether if this is your first time or if you're here from many, many Mondays ago, we welcome you. Thanks for coming through. We've got Halebrook in the house. Halebrook, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Whether you're performing or just checking it out in the audience, your presence is much appreciated. All right, so check it out. Like I said, it's an online open mic based out of El Paso, Texas, here in the U.S. Southwest, presented by the Barbed Open Mic Series. But because this is online, we get to have people join us from all over the world, which is a whole lot of fun. We get international, we get to jump around all around the country and just appreciate what people are working on creatively. So yeah, this open mic in particular, we encourage poetry, spoken word, prose, both originals and covers on all ends there. The covers are super fun because it's a cool way to celebrate people that we're currently reading, that we look up to, that might have a piece that hits on a poignant theme, whatever's going on. We just had Mother's Day, so we might get some Mother's Day poems today. But yeah, it's May. And we have been doing this open mic since April of 2020, nonstop, every single Monday. I don't know how, but we've been able to do it. And we've had a pretty cool community joining us along the way. Like I said, if this is your first day, welcome. We're going to be here next Monday. And if you just want to check it out, listen and all that good stuff and sign up, you always have a chance to do it the following week. We have a pretty decent list today, but if you do feel like signing up, if you get a little bit of courage and feel like you want to share something, then by all means, the link to sign up is in the description of this YouTube video. In addition to the link to sign up, there are a couple other things. For example, if you are an EPCC student looking for the Tejano passport code, then excuse me, there are directions on there on how to do so. Really, what I'm asking you to do is just listen to everyone, stick around for as long as you can, enjoy the performances, and really listen to them. What lines stuck out to you? What did you find interesting? Did you learn something new, or were you able to relate in any way to any of the pieces that you heard today, whether it be poetry or music? And just write a little thing. Again, I left my email in there if you need to get a hold of me. And there's all sorts of other things there as well. I'm going to try and be quick in the announcements today. It is a busy week for us. Obviously, aside from being online tonight, we do have an event almost every single night this week, starting Tuesday. Tuesday, we'll be downtown at Mona Bar of Modern Art. That is on San Antonio Street, pretty much right next to the legendary Tap Bar and Restaurant. If you have a little bit of time, I recommend get there early, have some food there, maybe some of the legendary Tap nachos. Maybe have some liquid courage, a drink or two, and then join us for the open mic. Sign up starts at 8 p.m. The show starts after 9. And then I kind of start based on like how full the list is. So if it's really full, we'll start like around 9:15. If it's a little slow to get started, maybe we'll push it back to like 9:20, 9:30. But either way, come through. They do have food now, depending if they stay open or not. But they have hot dogs and tater tots and all sorts of loaded surprises. Um, what else? Wednesday, we are gonna have another edition of our storyteller night, and that is something we are calling Storycraft at Crown of Crows. Crown of Crows is an interesting venue downtown on Myrtle. Almost unassuming. The architecture is kind of different when you drive by. It does stand out, but when you walk in, you're transported to this interesting looking tavern. It's a nice intimate setting. And the way that works is we're gonna do start signups at 6:30 p.m. So we're trying to do it early, an earlier night for those of you who I know that Tuesday nights can be kind of a late night, but we're gonna try and start that one early. And if it work, the way it works is just prepare a piece of writing, prose, fiction, nonfiction, creative nonfiction, anything that fits into that category. It could even be something that you improvise as a story. Why not? And prepare up to 15 minutes max. You don't have to use all that time, but that's how much time. If your name is drawn from the goblet, we have a little cup, a golden cup, or a chalice that you get to draw your name from. So it isn't guaranteed that you get to read like a regular open mic, but with that said, you get a little bit more time, and on top of that, we get a little bit of workshopping done. So after you read, we open up to the audience to ask questions, provide feedback, and that's kind of helpful if you're trying to work on stuff, especially if you're trying to work on getting stuff submitted. What's up? All right, I'm looking. We got Sandy in the chat. Hello, Sandy. We got Andres as well. Hello, morning. Yeah, top of the morning to you. All right. And lastly, we have our open mic at Rally Point Coffee on the east side on Thursday. So if you guys live in that area, hey, you don't have to drive as far for this one. This one we're also trying to start a little bit earlier, as usual, more than we usually do. I think we start at 7. So I think sign up will start at around 6:30, start the show around 7. And that one is hosted by Jez, who's super fun. I love getting to work with her. But I think those are all the events we have. As always, you can find us at bwoms.com and thanks we can't do this without you guys. So thanks for your continued support. And one thing you can do to help us is just tell people. We got shows, we have open mics. If you know anyone who writes, if you know anyone who plays music, tell them, hey, we have a stage. If you ever want to try performing in public, on top of that, it's a way to maybe get some cool pictures of you performing, maybe even some video. Okay. I've talked a lot. So any other questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. But I'm gonna kick it off with a poem. I debuted it last Wednesday at the Writers' Night. And it's a piece that's kind of not finished. I wanna kind of work on the metaphor a little bit, but I'm just practicing reading it out loud because I'm also trying to write in a way that's uh, different than the style I had been kind of using for many years. So yeah, this one's called autocorrect. If you know, you know. Hold on. Let me let Julian Matthews into the room. Okay, autocorrect. I try to say what I mean, but the phone has other plans. I typed salud to celebrate my friend's good news, a toast, a blessing, a celebration in their honor, but it autocorrects. Salad. So now I'm raising leafy greens in honor of your promotion. I once tried to text, friendship is everything, but it came out, fried shrimp is everything, which is, to be fair, might still be true because both are warm, comforting, and slightly greasy with history. One fills your soul, the other your stomach. But what I'm really trying to say is that I meant those words, even when they came out wrong, because we use this glowing glass to stay close across cities, time zones, and lifetimes. We text instead of call. We like instead of listen. We send a heart emoji when we don't know how to say, I'm scared you're drifting. Sometimes I wonder if all these tools meant to bring us together have only perfected the art of almost, almost connected, almost honest, almost saying what we mean before the algorithm tidies it up. Still, I keep trying. I keep sending, keep fumbling through this tiny keyboard just to say something that reaches you. So if I ever text you a blessing that sounds like lunch, salad, just know I meant joy. I meant cheers. I meant you're worth the toast. Anyway, yeah, I want to work on that. I want to work on some other examples of like auto corrections that might be kind of silly. So far, they're only food related, I'm noticing. So maybe I was just hungry when I was writing it, but there's definitely a lot of misinterpretations that can come from autocorrect. Oh, some of the waitresses at Proof and Press gave me some good examples last time. So anyway, if you guys have any suggestions, all right, cool. So let's go ahead and continue with the open mic. As always, this is a platform for everyone who's performing. So if you guys are watching right now and you haven't done so, performers, I'm asking you to share your websites, your Linktree, your Substacks, your YouTube, whatever you use to share your art, because we definitely want to promote that and have people follow you. Um, so with that said, we're gonna go ahead and kick things off with a name that has opened up before, not too many times. By the way, shout out to Mike Sindler, enjoying some live music today. Happy to have him out celebrating some music. You know, he's a big music fan, so one of the things we talk a lot about on the show. So, but we're gonna kick things off with someone who you all know if you've been to any of our in-person shows and here on Monday nights. We have David Latif to kick things off. David, let me get you on the spotlight. When you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to do start with some new shit and then do some old shit. This one is tentatively titled Brian Thompson Deserved What He Got. It's inspired by I need to shout at Ivy McGonia's wonderful Tumblewords workshop that she led this past Saturday. Absolutely delightful. So here's the poem that she inspired. I don't have a ton of experience with drugs. I mean, I do, just the doctor kind of drugs. And I see how my drugs aren't that different from everyone else's. So many of us are made to feel different and medicinally make up for it, and how in some places alcohol is more acceptable than Adderall, caffeine more common than chemotherapy. I drink energy drinks, my roommate says. It calms my mind down because it's a stimulant, I realize, like the one I take every morning. Different chemicals trying to treat the same affliction. But caffeine isn't controlled the way my meds are. Many with tremors like mine use booze to smooth their handshakings because propranolol is a bit easier to access than the neurologist you need to get it from, where a bottle of beer requires nothing more than a sideways ID and a few dollars. No drug dealer charges a $50 copay on top of insurance premiums just to talk to them before you even get the drugs. So people use what they can get. And I don't think anyone should be ashamed except those who do the shaming, those ableist assholes who tell you to just try harder, rub some dirt on it, man up, and get over it. You don't deserve that. You deserve help. You deserve support. You deserve doctors who listen like good bartenders and medications as cheap as bad tequila. You deserve to get better and you deserve to walk the path to get there. And Brian Thompson deserved exactly what he got. I'm going to read some poems. I want to talk about support because I think support is important. So I picked out poems about that. Um, this is a poem from my book, The Chair, A Cluttered Pile of Neuroqueer Poetry. You can find it on Amazon. I am working on ways of getting this available elsewhere. If you see me in person, hand me a $10 bill and I'll hand you a book. But yeah, this one is called I Don't Ask for Help. Maybe I forget that I can, because I was told that I should buckle down and focus or just learn how to manage my time, and I thought that I could, because I was told that I could, because everyone else could. But none of us knew that I couldn't, so I kept on trying and I kept on failing. You told me that I'm my own worst enemy, that I should buckle down and focus and just learn how to manage my time, and I believed you. None of us knew that we were lying, that my brain is physically incapable of buckling down and focusing or managing my time. Our eyes are not MRIs. They cannot look inside each other's skulls and see what's going on. This next one is called Emergency Chocolate. I kept a chocolate bar that was labeled Emergency Chocolate in the butter cubby of my mostly empty fridge. I didn't think I would need it. I had a bad day that I've had before when the pile of things I didn't do on all the other days crashed down onto me, and I swear that it'll never happen again, just like I did last week. I'll buy another chocolate bar. And this last poem is called EVA. There was one day in college, my fifth year, when I was trapped in the apartment that felt like a space station for one hurtling into the blackness of space. And you came to my place because I was too stressed about all the classes I had missed, hands too shaky to hold the steering wheel straight, so you came over to my place. You said you wanted to get rid of some leftover homemade jello. I still don't know if you knew how badly I needed someone to rescue the wayward satellite tossed by the gravity of my own depression out of Earth's orbit, but you maneuvered your shuttle right outside my front door, and through a careful, caring spacewalk, you dragged me out of my apartment and back into orbit. Thank you. Thank you, Richie, for running these. It's a delight every single Monday. You can find me on Substack. I'm going to post it on YouTube and in the Discord, not Discord, on the Zoom chat. I post poems there every Tuesday. Thank you so much.
All right. Yes. Thank you, David. Let me see. Get back on the spotlight there. Yes. Support. You need that. Um, Hold on. Yeah. The Substack thing is cool. I appreciate everyone that's using and posting that. Go follow David on that, Poetic Universal Friend. And speaking of Substack, our next performer also has a Substack. You can find him under Ed Gonzalez Jedi. But without further ado, Ed, it is time for you to do your thing. All right, when you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Um, also want to thank BWOMS. Thank you, Richie, for this. This is wonderful. I'm filled with gratitude. It's freaking awesome. Um, Also, let's see. I think I'm gonna get right to it. The first one I have is from Ivy's Tumble Words. I had a lot of fun. Got a lot of good stuff out of it. If you can get to Tumble Words, or I should change that to get to Tumble Words. Manifest it, make it happen. And this first one is probably one of my favorite. It's actually I think the third one. I've got a few covers, and I have a real short one at the end. I try to keep it to four, but the one is really short. And just want to shout out to Ivy because that was freaking awesome. This one entitled "No Apologies slash Drugs." Well, as far as a comedic moments, recent Catholic Church experience was that I was taking pictures of the holy event, my grandson's first communion. I was on the outer aisle and taking pictures, and once I was done, I was on my way back, and I saw Luis, my ex-mother-in-law's current husband. I stopped and said hi. He's my favorite person on that side of the family. I gave him mad props for hanging in there. Once the ceremony was done, I was headed up the aisle when Luis's wife caught up with me, and she said, "Nice to see you," a verbal dagger, as I did not acknowledge her earlier. And all were receiving jabs in my side from my family following behind me. I'm sure because of my track record of saying what I mean what I say. I did stay the course. I stopped the procession to stop. I leaned back and said, and made just I said, I leaned back, discussion that I had not seen him in a long time, and I had the pleasure of seeing you last week, dripping with delicious sarcasm, all the while holding back a massive bah ha 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 as I received my final shove in my side from my family members, and to commence the procession outward. As far as the question of drugs, I wasn't really big on them as they got in the way of my blind drunk. So uh, it was really interesting. Yeah, this one I just wrote because of all the stuff that's going on. It's entitled Rush. With AI feeding the masses on Facebook, every sellable item on the face of this earth, and delivering information on a new non-fart drug because my laptop was able to detect gas billowing from my rear end. And the government spending millions of hours and millions of dollars defending a picture of the representative that was standing up to the fascists after they cut and pasted and removed one of his fingers and appeared to be, oh, they cropped out one of his fingers. All the while, Fox continues to show children ripped from their mothers on Mother's Day in an effort to frighten non-MAGAs. So what's next on the manifesto would be the first fake ICE agent getting shot. After that, I'm pretty sure it's all going to be about how horrible we are. After a test run in Massachusetts, that shit's not going to fly very high everywhere else, that's for sure. I will continue to write and speak against the fascists. I remain positive while prompting change in this world. And in my own and in my own mind, remarkably, this is Mental Health Month. Every little bit helps to manifest change. Continuing with the small purchase is not only made in China before the tariffs, but to the shitheads in Washington, I say, brush. Who knows what can come from this? I'm going to use this right away because you know where it goes. Okay. So that was my first prop, by the way, on BWOMS. Just wanted to point that out. And oh, sorry, I have a few covers. Got to prop the Ravenclaw. And this one is I got from this book here, edited by Ada Limon, from Albert Rios, called 20 Minutes in the Backyard. The house sparrow flies to the ground to get the seed that has fallen from the feeder. In doing it, it flies through a bit of spider web, which works something like a phone call to the spider, who answers the call with, "Hello, careful," and very quiet, nobody's there. This happens to a lot of spiders. It makes them grumble about the neighbors who walk across the spider's curious lawn. But the complaints are hollow sometimes. Sometimes indeed there is a fly or a moth or any manner of small beast, a very small beast. They try to run away, but they are tripped up by long, thin fingers on the web. The small thing quivers and asks politely, please, to be let go, followed by the sincere apology, but the spider does not have ears. This explains why it's not to hear the house sparrow swoop into the air high enough to reach the spider. Few leaves rustle. While the whole world simply moves forward, this Saturday business of the immense backyard conglomerate at work. If one listens, one might hear the great bustling city of it all. Small sirens and screams, caterpillars backing up, and geckos at their mysterious work. And that's Albert Rios. Okay, my next one is from Andrea Hernandez Home, this beautiful book. And this one is a short one, but it's wonderful. It's entitled Border Identity Disorder. To be of the otro lado, this side and in between, all the same time. To not know what el otro lado means, but to feel it in your bones, to dream it in your ancestral tongues, to wake up in English, always English, to be the hyphen in your own identity. That was freaking awesome. And this one right here is from another one of my favorite people in this world, a wonderful person, Kai Coggin. The soul of everything, the optimist, and I sit in the dark. He shines, a beam of light. Through to the back of my eye, I see that I hold my own orbiting planets in these sockets. The right retina, a Jupiter swing, bending bright blue waves to some dark space in my head. Left retina to its own violet Venus, in how she holds on to the moving light. Pathways unveiled, black holes turned inside out to brilliance. And when she finishes, says the exam is over, I carry imprints of two bright stars burning in my eyes. And everywhere I look, light. In faces, light. In trees, light. In a lifting bird, light. This new aura clouds my vision as I move through the world, my windows fully open to the soul of everything. Kai Coggin. She's awesome. And these are some clips I got and sort of put together. Where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any one class is made to feel that society is organized conspiracy to oppress, rob, and degrade them. Neither persons nor property will be safe. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom, yet denigrate, disciprocate, agitate, are men who want crops without plowing the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the awful roar of its many waters. The struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one, or it may be both moral and physical, but it is a struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. And it will, and it never did, and it never will. And that was Frederick Douglass. Thank you, BWOMS. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, the Mondays regulars. Y'all inspire me every single day. I hope to see you all Thursday at Rally Point. I will be there. And I hope to see everybody else there too. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Hey, thank you, man. Quite a selection there. Ed Gonzalez, everyone, check out the Substack. There it is. Very cool. Yeah, Thursday at Rally Point. If you guys make it or live on the east side or want to make the drive out there, you know how it is. But we're gonna stick around in El Paso for a few performers, and then like I said, we do have a couple peeps from all over as well after that. But we're gonna go ahead and pick it up with Robin Schofield. Uh, and when you're ready, go ahead and take it away. Hello, hello.
Hey, Richie. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. And it's Mental Health Month, so I'm going to read 3 poems about people with possible mental health problems. And the first one is for an English poet named Charlotte Mew. She was born in 1869 and died in 1928. So this makes her right in between Victorianism and modernism. So she wasn't quite, she wasn't straight enough for the Victorian age, and she wasn't soon enough for modernism. She was born too early for that. So anyway, she had a tragic short life, and nobody reads her poetry. It's called Almost Modern. When someone at the door of one of your singular readings asked, "Are you Charlotte Mew?" you replied, "I am afraid that I am." You who stood on Asylum Road, not overcome with grief for both your brother and your sister, the beauty, schizophrenics, were able to write it, yes, write it down. Devoted to each other, you and Anne, your other sister, wanted nothing to do with offspring. You felt you must change the pronoun whenever you loved someone because your love was disapproved before you even began to know what it was. One of your so-called friends wrote, Charlotte is a pervert. Typical Victorian. You looked past that hurt and honed your craft with crazy long uneven lines, slant rhyme at the ends. Your travels to France ended in heartbreak for you, upended wits for cet obscur objet du désir, for your alarming affections roused no more than ire. You died, foaming at the mouth, a bottle of Lysol, all you could afford for your final act. Such a loss that you burned your last poems, torched with grief for Anne, who died at home of cancer. We can't know how powerful they were now that they are gone, but you are not, for you live in words, the farmer's bride again, fey creature in the world of men. And this one is about Lizzie Borden, who was found innocent in her trial, I might add, not guilty, that is, but may have had a little bit of mental illness. 1 week after the Hatchet murders. And I'm taking some of my material from the famous short story writer, English short story writer, Angela Carter, and some of it from facts. First of all, Lizzie Andrew Borden said to the judge, she was not my mother. She was my stepmother. I want to make that clear, sir. I don't understand why my father married her. She ate and ate, snorted like a pig, the butterball, and of all the nerve, she wanted to eat my pigeons in a pie. The red dawn and the blue bar who sat on my shoulder. I who slept so poorly, slept so well, and then to awaken to their cooing, though my father hated their moaning. I'd scatter seeds and they'd follow my trail. Furthermore, Bridget the cook said, Miss Lizzie, I will not cook your pet pigeons. But one day, not too long ago, on that cool morning last week, the pigeon coop was still. I scattered seed. None came. I found clumps of blood and wrecked pigeons, touched by slices of sunup. I found the hatchet covered in feathers and blood in the basement. The self-same hatchet, you understand. I stared at that hatchet and did nothing and felt nothing. I felt nothing. All right, it's asking me if I'm speaking English. Wow. Okay. And this one is about one of my professors at the University of Texas, and he was a little bit famous because he met Einstein at the boat and at Princeton and things like that. But people thought when he was old, people thought he had gone off the deep end because he thought all things down to the quantum level were conscious. So this is called John Wheeler's Vision at the University of Texas, the It from Bit. The human brain, he thinks, must interfere with underlying reality, occupied as it is by dragons and giants and ogres, interweaving stones and folk, plural protons, rivers and atoms. The live oak sees nothing, and our seeing engraves our nature. An illuminated book, a magical tree, that's all. His blue eyes focused on a dark absence, and if light cannot escape, Milton's third eye, what about his left foot on the distant smoky hills beyond rural Bee Cave Road, as Wheeler sits in his 9th floor office, reflecting with the plate glass windows, when he reads Blake for the first time. With his mentor, Niels Bohr, he met Einstein at the boat when he was 21. He teaches that moment on the dock in 1932, one great man waiting for another, how they gravitated to each other and celebrated the escape. Wheeler thinks of the new knowing, how he could not unknow it, so he named the darkest part. Black holes, we call them to this day. He enters Blake's hell, knowingly above the clock tower's toll. In our willing universe, Wheeler says, what is self-aware down to the slightest bit of subatomic it, which makes us stardust, stardust us. Okay, and now for my for my cover poem, I'm going to read a poem from one of the first of the confessional poets, I guess, a friend of a really crazy guy, Robert Lowell, a poem by Elizabeth Bishop, who, from her letters and her descriptions of her mood swings, she probably had something like bipolar 2. One art. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things seem filled with the intent to be lost that their loss is no disaster. Lose something every day, except the fluster of lost door keys, the hour badly spent. The art of losing isn't hard to master. Then practice losing farther, losing faster, places and names and where it was you meant to travel. None of these will bring disaster. I lost my mother's watch, and look, my last or next to last of 3 loved houses went. The art of losing isn't hard to master. I lost 2 cities, lovely ones, and vaster, some realms I owned, 2 rivers, a continent. I missed them, but it wasn't a disaster. Even losing you, the joking voice, a gesture I love. I shan't have lied. It's evident. The art of losing's not too hard to master, though it may look like. Write it like disaster. And that was Elizabeth Bishop, friend of the really crazy Robert Lowell. And do come to Tumblewords. We have a blast there every week, Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock Mountain Time, and get the Zoom link from Kit Wren. So what else? Hope to see some of you local people next week. All right, back to you, Richie.
All right, thank you, Robin. Appreciate that. Oh man, that that one art is definitely a top poem. I'm agreeing with you there, kid. Um, when I taught it at UTEP in my poetry class, people loved that one the most too. So it really speaks to a lot of us. Excellent set too, Robin. Thank you so much. Shout out to Marilu and Andres in the chat. What's going on? Hello, hello, everyone. Sandy, of course. All right, we're gonna keep this thing going. We're gonna stick around in El Paso, and up next we have the MV Lee. That's right. It's time for Lee Martinez Soto. All right, Lee. Hello, hello.
Hi. All right, so I have 2 short poems, one a little bit longer, and then one prose poem. So the first one, I wrote it under, for legal purposes, is a joke, a substance, and here it is. It's called Rainy Night with the Patio Door Wide Open. You were in my rain room, draped over the wall, swirling breeze and droplets hanging from your skin. With fingers on my neck, the tender brush of petals and wings of moths pressed against your lips, warm like ocean tides coalescing into my shores, the sacred geographies of you against me and me against you, falling with the drizzle of this rainy afternoon. And this one, Tumblewords, as we mentioned a lot already, this one is one of the workshops that I get for Tumblewords 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. And this one is about border walls, and its title is such. They first built their monoliths with wooden stakes and barbed wire, punctured flesh and muscle with each push down, further down until the desert was made a wasteland and the river was split in two. They first defended its existence with gunpowder and blood, each droplet, each spark feeding famished soil and enlarging the monster. Then came the metal rods, tall and sharp, splitting roots and soil, disrupting the flow of water, the ebb of life, piercing the sky until shadow was all the eyes could see. Then their war machines pointed their murderous gaze to the other. Each body, each life lost to this intangible place, liminal space where the other's bodies scored the rise of zealotry, patriotism disguising hate. When lifeless bodies outside outnumbered the ones in, this cold machine turned its gaze inward, and our destruction began. Then this other one, just put it up here. This is called What Are You? What are you? Let me get the projector. Let me take out the list, load the family tree, show you how I cross all the dots so that you can see proof. Soy ni de aquí ni de allá. Numbers spread across continents, some lost to the sea, some burnt at the cross. I am some percentage colonizer, mis hojas sostenidas por hidalgos que mantienen sus títulos, escudos y tierras a pesar de la sangre corriendo a su nombre. I am some percentage erased without a name, sin lengua y raíces que nunca podré trazar. I am twice renamed, fake IDs to exist, muy blanquita para ser raza, and somehow this nose doesn't let me pass off as white. I am undefined, limitless, and frankly, I don't owe you a damn explanation. Then this last one is called Border Crossings. I wrote this a little bit ago, but I still like it a lot. So, and I've been going off on a lot of reading and writing about the border, so I thought it was fitting. The walk back to Mexico starts with finding a parking spot. You circle around the couple of blocks closest to the bridge, a few rounds until you find a space big enough to accommodate your subcompact SUV and poor parallel parking skills. This part is always the worst. That's a lie. The walk back to Mexico starts the day before while you mentally prepare for the walk. The things you'll have to take, how much weight you can realistically carry, the conversations you will have to make, the trek back after it is all over, and how much rest you will really get through the weekend. This is the worst part. Parking is a close second, though. Car parked, steering wheel lock set, you secure your belongings in your backpack and begin to walk. It's winter, so the air nips at your skin and pushes pin needles through your lungs. During summer, the sweltering heat constricts your breath and makes it harder to focus, hard not to fall asleep or stop yourself from tearing your clothes and skin off. Regardless of the weather, you keep conversations to a minimum. Walk in a line to avoid bumping into others. Try to keep your heavy and jagged breathing to yourself, and glance occasionally at your surroundings. The view varies by little. Concrete, metal fences, reinforced with more metal fences, barbed wire, and graffiti. Concrete barriers across the path, reinforced with metal fences, barbed wire, a migra lookout, and graffiti. And the Rio Bravo with metal fences, barbed wire, plants, ducks, and graffiti. The only addition you have ever been grateful for is the carp that covers the top of the metal case you're surrounded with, meant to protect you from the sun. In your mother's car now, you crack open the window or turn on the AC to the max. This is regardless of the weather. The bochornos be really fucking you up lately. You race for conversation. It's always the same. Some catching up over what happened since the last time you saw each other. Some reiterations of what happened in the last 9 months, and the latest news about how fucked up things are getting. She still seems to think it's safer on the other side, despite all evidence to the contrary. You catch her up to that with that too. The mass deportations and the risks posed to birthright citizenship. Amá, somos niños ancla, chingado, le afecta a usted también. The pause on all federal funding and the number of people losing access to food, shelter, medical care, and a job. The threat of a federal abortion ban, the loss of protections for your queer and disabled family. The list grows every fucking day. Está jodido, ma. She just nods and changes subjects when it gets too political. It's hard not to get political when your entire existence has become a battleground, but she doesn't get it. Just like the absolute morons who voted against their interest don't get it. Latinos for Trump, gays for Trump, women for Trump, people relying on the few public programs our government has for Trump, but they will get it one day, when it finally hurts them, like he said it would. So instead of repeating yourself, you shut down and let her tell you for the nth time about what her friend said to her about the vecina's daughter, letting her continue with her life until politics finally reach her. You can already feel you will get no rest for another weekend, dreading the walk back home and the potential that those bridges that connect you will one day shut down too. And that is it.
All right, thank you, Lee. And as all, yeah, I like how you finished with that's it, because that was everything. All right. How can people follow and support you online?
You can find me on Instagram at cadáveres_literarios. You can also find me at Substack with my name is substack.com/Lee Martinez Soto, I believe it is. And then I'll be posting my link where you can find all of those links.
The one link to rule them all. All right. Thank you, Lee. And we'll forward that too. Again, shout out to everyone on YouTube tuning in. I see Lex is there now. Hello. Yeah. Lots of love as always for Lee on there. So if you haven't a chance, go check out the YouTube live chat. Uh, so we're gonna go ahead and leave El Paso for a little while. In fact, we're gonna go to Ohio for our next two performers. Um, so first up, we have Doc Janning. Doc, so welcome back. Happy Monday. When you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
I shall do so. This is titled A Hidden Moment. Somewhere in a hidden moment, a moment which stretches into forever, clouds of memory drift across an infinite inscape. Eleusinian shadows of time and change. A moment encompassing past, present, and future. A moment painted in the palette of life. A chiaroscuro of incompletes and unknowns, amid echoes and reflections of every sound and every sight. Amid wordless songs of being and refractions of existence. An epiphanic moment of quantum interconnectedness. And I sit with myself, my unknown self, in that moment. A moment as profound as the stars. And I become the moment. This is titled Of Which Dreams Are Made. Soaring into the star-studded sky and dark baldaquin of night, the argent serenity of the moon enchants as it glides across the Mazarine Sea and traverses through the chakras of time and mysteries of the multiverse. And dreams flow through rivers of mind in ribbons of thought and hope. Dreams of life and living, of past and future, singular and repeating, revenant and reincarnation. Dreams of lost lands and worlds, Lioness, Atlantis, Lemuria, and Mu. Lost languages and arts, monuments, ruins, and petroglyphs. Dreams of lost love, of a love never fully bloomed, never consummated. A love of which dreams are made. And I will finish with The Bench. A warm spring day, a village park, a footbridge, a river below, a welcoming bench on the girdered span, rippling music of the stream as it glides under the bridge, a counterpoint to the susurration of leaves and soft sigh of a zephyr. Dappled sunlight paints the hillsides. Peace flows and poetry. Thank you.
All right, Doc. Awesome. And is there anything else you want to promote really quick before we move on?
Uh, if anyone would like, look me up on Facebook, Doc Janning. There's a video that has been posted of an event I hosted called A Gathering of Laurels. It was an all poets laureate reading the first weekend in April for National Poetry Month. A Gathering of Laurels 3. So thank you. Enjoy your evening.
All right, thanks. You too, Doc. All right. In fact, we're going to stick around in Ohio, but we're going to go to the land of Cleves. I haven't said that in a while. It feels good. Our next performer has not been here in a while for some time, but it's always great to see him. Here with some song parodies, we have Urban Cowboy Poet. Hello, hello, my friend.
Hi. Yeah, it's been a couple of years actually. But I always want to celebrate Mother's Day because I had special, wonderful mom. Sometimes I read a poem by my mother and my grandmother and my great grandmother and my great 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 grandmother and Bradstreet. But I like to do my Mother's Day song, so I'll do that. You ready for some toe tapping and hand clapping? Well, life in my family was really kind of cool. We were raised sensible. We were, I'm sorry, let me start over. Well, life in my family was really kind of cool. We were loved and supported when we were going to school. My mama raised the six of us to be nobody's fool. Thank God I'm my mama's boy. Music, love, and laughter were my mom and dad's thing. Daddy taught me to be funny. Mama taught me how to sing. The role models were Jesus and Martin Luther King. Thank God I'm my mama's boy. Well, I got me three sisters and I got me two brothers, and I wouldn't ever trade them for any others. We're all so lucky we were raised by my mother. Thank God I'm my mama's boy. Mama taught me to be fair and to treat all people right. Don't go thinking I'm special just because I'm white. Try to be understanding of everybody's plight. Thank God I'm my mama's boy. She said, say what you mean and you won't have to fear. Don't just tell people what they want to hear. Use text, but be as honest as a full-length mirror. Thank God I'm my mama's boy. Well, I got me three sisters and I got me two brothers, and I wouldn't ever trade them for any others. We were all so lucky we were raised by my mother. Thank God I'm my mama's boy. He said, with music in your life, you can't go wrong. So they taught the six of us to raise our voice in song. Only one of us, we would just hum along. Thank God I'm a mama's boy. She said, all people got the right to be what they can. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. If you see an injustice, you got to take a stand. Thank God I'm a mama's boy. Well, I got me three sisters and I got me two brothers, and I wouldn't ever trade them for any others. Oh, so lucky we were raised by my mother. Thank God I'm my mama's boy. When kids bully us or teachers treat us unfair, or our spouses do us wrong, then from out of nowhere, mom shows up to defend us like a big old mother bear. Thank God I'm my mama's boy. My folks were kind to each other every single day. My mama loved my daddy up until he passed away. I've emulated them to be the man I am today. Thank God I'm my mama's boy. Well, I got me three sisters and I got me two brothers, and I wouldn't ever trade them for any others. We were all so lucky we were raised by my mother. Whew! Thank God I'm my mama's boy. Thank you.
All right. Very cool. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Yesterday's Mother's Day. The day before was my birthday. Eddie already sang me a song. But the day before that was Billy Joel's birthday. He's one day older than I am. But he recorded a song, The Longest Time, when he was in his 30s. He should know by now that no man in his 30s could have any concept of the longest time. So I wrote my version for the same man, singing to the same woman 50 or 60 years later. Whoa, 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 for the longest time. Whoa, whoa, for the longest. If you said goodbye to me today, I might say, who are you anyway? But what can I do? Sometimes I forget my name too. I've not been all there for the longest time. I get lost on walks that I go on. Maybe you'll be sorry when I'm gone. I get with glances. I forget to zip my pantses. I haven't zipped them for the longest time. Whoa, whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, whoa, for the longest. Stop the voice I'm hearing in my head. It's a miracle that I'm not dead. Oh, how I need you. I hope you've needed me too. I've not been all there for the longest time. Maybe I won't last very long. I think I'm all right, but I could be wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be driving my car, but I've come this far and it's more than I hoped for. I don't. Once I wished my impotence was gone. With Viagra, happiness goes on. Before the blue pill, I tried to make it work with sheer will. That hasn't happened for the longest time. Keeping me alive is an art. An implant device holds on to my heart. I know you're the woman that I wed when I take my meds, and that's all I can hope for. I don't care for all the gifts you bring. I feel like a fool when I lose things. My memory's so bad, but I will always know that we have loved each other for the longest time. Whoa, whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, whoa. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Urban Cowboy Poet. Appreciate you, man. I linked the video session recorded a couple years back too, where you sang that very song. Good
Yeah,
stuff. And
that one in El Paso, yes.
yes, any other comments or notes before we move on your end? Any
For me or from the audience?
for you, yeah.
Um, you can see my legends, not necessarily my songs, here, Urban Cowboy Poetry on Facebook or YouTube. And you can buy
Perfect.
my book. I'll
There
put
it is. Cool.
by PayPal or something else. I'll put that in my chat.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Doc. Good seeing you. So
I'm not
cheers,
Doc,
cheers.
but whatever.
I'm just, what did I say, Doc? I'm so sorry. I was reading the list because you both are in Ohio. All right, sorry. I'm trying to make connections. Because we're actually going to go 2 hours down from Ohio and visit our friend in Pittsburgh, who's reading some short fiction. We have Vale Larkin up next. Vale, let's get you in the spotlight. Hello, hello. I saw your funny note about the cat. Just give me a second here. There we are. Thank you.
Hey, I don't think I'm 2 hours from Ohio. I mean, out away from Ohio time-wise. Ohio's about an hour from here.
He meant in time zones. I mean, Eastern
Yeah,
time zone.
but you're 1 hour away from me, not 2.
I don't know where you are.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Vale.
I'm just being weird. Sorry. Okay, never mind me. Okay, I'm reading a short story that I Started a few weeks ago, and I will start with a brief synopsis and go straight into it. It is called The Wick and the Echo Child. There once was a village where an energy called the Wick inspired many to the arts and other creative pursuits. One day, a man constructed a kind of doll that manifested the ideas of the villagers in pictures on its chest. The man who created it thought it might be useful for relieving artists' block and such, but he always said that it should not be too much relied upon. After a while, the villagers stopped making art, nurturing growing things and dancing. One dull day, sometime in the future, a stranger came to the village. When the woman who was supposed to be selling them her cart failed to appear, they wandered the town square, where they began to notice something strange. First, someone would come out of a door or up a side street into the square. None of them acknowledged the stranger, but easily 8 out of 10 of them then turned and hurried down a street on the opposite side from the stranger's pacing spot. The stranger was somewhat nonplussed to find a mystery in this vigorously insipid little town, and he decided to follow the steady stream of quiet, furtive people. Down the street, turning left and down another short lane, they saw a house with a small ramshackle workshop attached to it. Curiously, it was to the workshop that the villagers walked, lining up and waiting indolently for their turn to enter the shed. The stranger wasn't entirely sure if it was a good idea, but they decided they were already in for a penny and might as well see what all of the lackadaisical fuss was about. They joined the queue. The dim interior of the building was heavy with dust, lit only by the little window set high in one wall. The sunlight pricked its way over a shelf scattered by worn tools and battered spools of wire. A man sat against one wall, but the space was so close that he could reach out his hand and touch the shoulder of an odd clockwork doll seated on a table in the center. Indeed, he had already done so at some point before the stranger entered the room. The man was stingy, thin, pale, and rigidly upright. There were laugh lines on his face in places, but the hard creases of bitterness crossed them, and the laughter looked faded and seldom used. His arm extended out, and his hand never moved from the doll's shoulder, not in all the time the stranger stood there. "Think of your wishes," he spoke tonelessly. "What is this here?" asked the stranger, uneasy. "Think of your wishes." The man's inflection was identically vacant. Then, slowly and only once, he blinked and peered up at the stranger, chin barely lifted. An eyebrow quirked as in some remembered musing, a befuddled expression like the moment of waking without yet being awake. "Do you wish to see the Echo Child?" he faintly rasped. "Is that what you call it?" asked the stranger. "It looks a bit eerie, sitting here in the gloom. What are all these people doing? Coming to see it?" The man against the wall blinked again, like a sleepwalker, barely revealing the rims of his eyes. "Think of your wishes," he repeated. The stranger paused at this point, no fool. It seemed clear this man was subject to some wandering of the mind, and that he might not be reached by conventional means. "Are you feeling yourself?" they asked, changing tacks. "Is there something I could get for you, or some help I could fetch? You seem unwell, sir." The man against the wall closed his eyes and breathed a deep sigh. "Do you wish to see the Echo Child?" he asked again. The stranger's wisdom did not extend to the knowledge of how to undo spells on old men, and less so those that seemed, to their increasing alarm, to be affecting many in the village they had found themselves in. "Please, sir," they said gently, and moved slowly to place their hand over the man's hand on the shoulder of the doll. Both man and child remained inert, Man vacant, doll as stolid as always. The stranger waited a moment to ensure the man's comfort to the best of their ability, and then they began to slowly slide their hand beneath the man's as a prelude to lifting it from the echo child. The man screamed, a shredding, horrid banshee shriek, and several things happened all at once. First, the stranger caught their hand back with a start. The man's screams turned to a steady siren wail of mine, and then the pounding began on the outside of the shed. The echo child in this moment was utterly still. It did not respond to the noise, or the clutching of the man's hand, or to the horror of the stranger. Its eyes were flat glass, its skin a rough woven fabric, and it had no means of movement. The surface of its chest, where phantoms and fantasies were replicated for so many, was as still as its heart. It was chaos inside and out, with the anguished cries of the man as he clutched the echo child's shoulder with a rigid, crunching grip, and the howling of the villagers from the queue growing louder and louder. The stranger realized that there were rents in the walls now, punched-out panels, and a widening crack in the center of the door. Desperate, they acted instinctively, grabbing the first thing likely to hand, and they slammed a brass pot laden with coins down onto the echo child's unfeeling head. To be continued.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. Looking forward to the next part. And as always, if you want to share a link, we'll forward it through. All right, cool. All right, we're gonna keep this thing going with short story theater. And it is Mr. Monday Night Kit Ren. Kit, when you're ready. Oh, look at you getting ready. Here, man, go ahead and take the spotlight.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks everyone before me, everyone after. Yes, I was reading my story that's not mine. As I said last week, this is by Jenna Rose Nethercott, called Sundown at the Eternal Staircase. And we're on part 2 of, I think 4. I think I can squeeze it into 4. The Sundown at the Eternal Staircase. There are 2 ways to tell what Harebell is thinking. First, ask her. Second, if the first doesn't work, it rarely does, check her hair. Harebell developed a complex and deliberate visual code based on the Danger Babe semi-permanent hair dye catalog. If she's happy or flirty, her hair is cotton candy pink. If she's restless, it's lemonade ice pop. On stoplight red days, she'll yell at you without provocation and steal lawn ornaments from strangers' houses to sell on eBay. Blizzard blue is when she's horniest, though it could also mean she's overslept or just binged a really good TV show. Slime time green days are suspiciously friendly with a monkey's paw generosity. Those days never end well. Like the time Harebell invited the whole stairwell staff out to dinner, only to vanish from the falafel shop when the bill arrived. She didn't apologize. Frankly, she thought they should have taken one look at her and known better. Anyone who couldn't predict Harebell's future actions based on her past cosmetic choices simply wasn't paying attention and deserved whatever was coming. Activities at the Eternal Staircase. Slinky launches begin at the exhibit banister every 45 minutes. Staircase aerobics classes are held twice daily at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Lectures on the Eternal Staircase's history and design are on the 3rd Thursdays of every month. Nothing is known about the history of the Eternal Staircase prior to its purchase by the current owners in 1989. Do not attend a lecture if you plan to ask any questions we cannot answer. Visitors who experience the sudden urge to descend deep into the Eternal Staircase, very deep, deeper than our staff can follow, must vacate the attraction immediately. Return to your car. Drive far away. Do not stop for groceries. Go home. I've been working on something. Harebell dropped the backpack with a broken zipper into June's lap. The opening was tacked shut with a dozen safety pins, which he left June to unclip one by one. Inside the bag was a baby. That's what June thought at first, anyway. She took it out, turned it around in her hands. It was a lump of clay the size of a basketball. Still soft. And it was human in some ways. It had a face, certainly, with a long nose and moony eyes, but it also had 4 stub horns poking out of its forehead and the beginnings of dark, squishy wings. It's a demon kid, said Harebell. Yeah, I got that. June covered its face with the bag. Cool, right? I've been getting into sculpture. Thought I could leave it on the doorstep somewhere uptown, spook some yuppies on their way to work in the morning. Maybe they'd adopt it, June said. Raise it as their own. You know where I got the clay, though? Harebell lifted an eyebrow and slid her mouth to the left of her face. It was a look June had come to recognize for the sake of survival more than intimacy. It meant Harebell was up to some real weird shit. Where? Harebell pointed down into the eternal staircase. June knew what she meant. She meant deep in the staircase, past the park limits, into parts of the staircase that would get you disgraced immediately if Charlie knew you'd gone down there. Hare, don't get yourself fired. If I have to spend all day hanging out with Peanut Dave instead of you, I'll throw myself down the stairs. But look, it's so cute. Harebell uncovered the clay baby, lifted it up, and nuzzled her nose against its clay nose. A dot of red earth smeared off on her. She wiped it on June. The trouble had started a week earlier. Harebell was short on rent. She began taking on doubles. The normal 6-hour shifts already spanned twice the doctor-recommended length of time to spend in the eternal staircase. And now Harebell was there 12 hours a day, at least 3 times a week. She started slipping up. Forgetting to take her birth control pill, leaving bleach in her hair too long on lunar platinum days, missing appointments. But it's not like Harebell ever worked hard. She always shrugged the real dirty work onto whoever else was around. Now she had twice the time for workplace neglect. She was bored. She started wandering deeper and deeper into the eternal staircase to pass the time. Started bringing artifacts back up with her. Shards of pottery. A fistful of metal guitar strings. A small silver pocket mirror. Things that had been lost to the staircase years, maybe decades before. Sometimes bones. Her broken backpack grew heavy with junk, rattling like a tambourine as she moved up and down the stairs. Whenever she returned from below, her eyes were obsidian orbs, pupils stretched so wide the whole of her eyes had gone black. What's even down there that's so worth it? Asked June. Nothing, said Harebell. I mean, actual nothing. Can you imagine? Nothing that goes on forever. There's gotta be a bottom eventually, June said. Does there? Said Harebell. Once, June saw a man fall on the eternal staircase and snap a leg so clean that the bone folded in half as if there were an extra knee. When she touched the leg, it was rubbery and warm like a hot water bottle. The man refused to be carried out until he had watched the sunset. Charlie gave the man a lifetime visitor's pass to the eternal staircase. June hoped he would never come back. Visitors, note the 4 large clocks posted around the perimeter of the eternal staircase. Please check regularly to avoid overstaying the 3-hour recommended visitation limit. Sometimes what feels like 5 minutes within the eternal staircase is actually hours. Sometimes what feels like hours is actually many, many days. Before we installed the clocks, there was no way to tell if you had been in the eternal staircase for an afternoon or multiple years. The eternal staircase is just that fun! Some people think that the eternal staircase leads down to hell. Officially, this has been neither confirmed nor denied. That's where we leave you for today. So, Tumblewords, heard it name dropped several times throughout. This week it's our annual Memorial Day workshop with Bill Sparks, our resident veteran. Very, very fun. Very good. Always puts together an interesting program each year. and doesn't mind being typecast. So that takes a weight off my conscience. We'll take actual Memorial Weekend off, and then we'll be back on May 31st with Rachel Cachete and their great workshop that has a really great title that I keep forgetting. The origin stories of criminals, I think, something like that. Yeah, great job selling it, buddy. Great job. Uh, but yes, we're a generative writing workshop. We meet over Zoom every Saturday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Ivy did a great job hosting for the first time this past Saturday, as you've heard the evidence of earlier today. And so, yeah, you'll see me around. I'll be hosting at Old Sheepdog the last Thursday of the month. I'll be the guy in the hat wherever you go to where fine quality BWOMS content is being procured. And so we hand it back to Richie now, because yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Kit. Very cool stuff. Yeah, congrats to Ivy on the workshop. That was a long time coming since she had been attending since she was a teenager, right? So it's cool to see Full Circle come back and lead a workshop. Looked like a great turnout as well. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go to Malaysia for our next performer. We have Julian Matthews with us, and Julian, when you are ready, I'll go ahead and get you on the screen. The share screen is ready, and let's see. After Julian, we have Cassie, who hopefully we'll make it back by then. All right. Hey, Julian, how's it going?
Hi.
Right. Go and take it away.
Okay. Oh, why is it happening? Can't seem to share screen. Okay, here we go. Clarity. I'm a serial freeverser, not part of the consensus. Don't care for form, meter, and syllable counts. I slice and dice your feet, spondies, trochees, fry your hibans into grits, eat your lines with some canned beans, and down it all with a nice bottle of Kentucky bourbon. After which I lean back, yawn, burp and fart, ever so sated. The night is still young, cloaked with breathless intrigue, and filled with the grim silence of the I ams. Now, the second one is a letter to my younger self. Forgive the length. A letter to my younger self. Hi, Julian. You don't know me, but you will soon. They say time flies, but time also bends like origami, shaping and reshaping itself into other things. Sometimes it's a bird, a boat, or a frog. It takes wing, it floats, it croaks. Some days it's a box that keeps filling up with keepsakes. Some nights it's a fragile heart you hang on a crumpled sleeve. Sometimes it may be a snake slithering away to hide family secrets. Sometimes it's a swan, all grace above water but paddling furiously below. One day your sister will dress you up like a girl, put lipstick and makeup and parade you to the neighbors, and they would laugh as if it was a game, like you were a human doll. You would be groomed to participate in what she thought would be funny. Long after, you'll ponder on what triggered your drinking. Was it that particular incident, the need to constantly prove your masculinity all your life, the risk you took, the comedian you became after a few, all the late night binging and shenanigans? It may have been that.
Or perhaps it was the vicious beating with a wooden broom, the bullying, the nervous breakdowns, or the molestations. Sorry to scare you, these things will happen, but none of it will be your fault. Remember that. You were too young. The fight or flight response was not in your armory yet. Like most victims, you will freeze. And for a long while, think you're over it. Alcohol will for decades be your only relief. That's the bad news. The good news is, one day you will stop cold turkey and it will be good. Memories will pour out of you like a sleeve. You'll see if you'll write it all down on a phone. Yes, in the future, there will be no typewriters. We'll type words into phones that we'll carry in our pockets. There will be something called the internet, like a gigantic encyclopedia containing all of the world's knowledge, which you will be able to use via the phone to understand a myriad of things. It will be personal and social and vivid and beautiful. With it, you will access every book, song, movie, and any toy you wish to buy. It will envelop the world and be always on 24 by 7 all year, every year. People will walk around with their heads in it, even falling down manholes or cliffs or sticking heads out of trains just to take selfies. What's a selfie, you say? It's taking your own portrait photo with a phone. Yes, as the word implies, people will become so self absorbed they will need to photograph everything, especially themselves. And strangely enough, all the food they eat. It's a kind of narcissism. That's a big word, but you will learn it in time. Your future world, unfortunately, will be led by narcissistic, corrupt men who will be in love only with themselves. They will wield power and money and use politics, religion, and royal credential to do as they please. They will exploit phones and the internet to spread fear, false news, and misinformation. They will make criminals seem like heroes, clowns like gods, influencing people about outlandish conspiracies, fueling fanatics and terrorism, scamming people, even overthrowing governments and starting wars. The phone will be all consuming, even to the young who'll be stuck playing games on it under blankets past their bedtimes, instead of reading books by torchlight as you do. Their parents will be no better watching endless crime, romance, and period drama serials with it in bed. To paraphrase Tolstoy, most unhappy families and governments will be dysfunctional in their own way. Sorry to sound so bleak, but it doesn't get any better. There are 8 billion people in the world now. I know it's a huge figure to comprehend. We're exhausting all our Earth's resources, cutting down forests, overfishing the seas, poisoning the topsoil, the oceans, the air, driving many species to extinction, and changing the climate for the worse. Unlike the science fiction books you read, there will be no second planet to escape to anytime soon. But Julian, crazy as it sounds, and despite it all, you will survive. You'll get married to a lovely wife and have 2 beautiful children, and you'll be writing. Get this, poetry. The brain fog will lift from your memory banks, and you'll be richly rewarded with brave, endearing, and revelatory writing. You'll discover grace in the simplest of things: a walk in the park, a seemingly tame green pigeon pecking at your feet, a curious ladybug landing on your arm, a pink-winged dragonfly staring at you from a leafy bush, a glorious sunset by the sea, a home-cooked meal with loved ones, a long chat with an old friend from school days. There will be laughter and hugs and closure. This will help heal your past traumas. Life will be good. I promise. You'll know by then to live in the present moment, not to dwell in the past or be overwhelmed with cynicism and troubles in the world. You do what you can where you are. You'll be more accepting and calmer, not to worry too much about the future, especially of those you care most about. You'll take life as is, one day at a time. You'll walk among the living trees with the sunlight streaming through, warming the tears of your face, and you will not let the shadows they cast dishearten you. I'll await your arrival right here, with arms wide open, beaming with joy. And when we embrace, it will be forever. See you then, my friend. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Julian, for those pieces once again. Thank you. We'll share the link tree for you in a moment. I have it here. But hey guys, once again, if you've tuned in, we're doing our online open mic right now, and we're gonna go to Canada next for our next performer, and it is Cassie. Cassie, when you're ready, go ahead and take it away. I can get you on the spotlight here. All right.
Oh, hey, sorry, just give me 1 second here. Hi, everyone. I was not fully prepared. One moment.
All right. And after Cassie, we have Ed, followed by Dan the Man. Again, check out our events, BWOMS.com, or any of our social media. We have 4 this week.
Oh, I was more prepared than I thought I was. Okay, I'm mistaken. Okay, here we go. All
Good.
right. No, I thought I had to pull everything up, but I don't. Okay, here we go. Do I want to start with this one? Okay, so I'm gonna maybe I won't start with that one. Sorry. Okay. So there's a trigger warning, content warning in one of my poems this evening. It isn't the first one, but I'm gonna give the warning twice just because of the content. So at some point in my set, there will be a content warning for emotional/domestic abuse. Just a heads up. So this first poem is called Ars Poetica. There are gaps between my words that gape, a concave I cannot lace shut. There is so much space, and when I fill it, words sink down and just keep sinking down through the earth, through the seeds, past the root systems, and I just keep hoping they'll catch on something, anything. All right, and now, as silly as it is to give the warning so close together, I forgot how short that poem was. This next poem, content warning for domestic violence. And this is called Fly in the Screen. You ask me to recount what I witnessed last night. I reluctantly open a video clip taken in secret by the only other fly on the wall. His jagged voice re-pierces my eardrums. Finally, I got to shut him off before he seeped any further into my pores. You ask what I heard, and I can't bring myself to articulate it. The words still ringing in my ears, their repetition still beating on my eardrums. It felt too important to get them right. I watched a man try to make himself bigger by sucking all the oxygen out of the room. Because if he could make her shrink, deflate her, he could imagine himself doubling in his measly size. And when it didn't work, he beat his words like a stick that he just couldn't will into breaking. Repeating phrases like, "You don't respect me, thwack. You don't respect me, thwack. You don't respect me, thwack." I sat stickless 2,000 miles away. I wanted to reach through the screen and grab him by the throat with a will much bigger than his, in the form of a hand much bigger than mine, and show him what it is like to be held hostage in your own home, by someone who has no business being there. Yeah, all right. And this next poem is quite a bit lighter. This is untitled. Sometimes the question is not why, but when. Sometimes lofty quandaries swirl around your sleeping head, trace the corners of your pillow, momentarily slink beneath your weary eyes, and resettle into your pores on your back, a whisper before you wake, to rest until they can be fully realized. You can think of them as grains of sand, sticky silt remaining unresolved, until you are equipped to carry more geodes. All right. So I do normally do a cover poem, but I didn't prepare any this evening, which feels a little bit odd. But if you are curious to occasionally see some of my poetry, it's very infrequent, but I do post once in a while on my Instagram at Relentless Intrigue if you're on Instagram. I also have a Substack, which someday I'll get around to using, which is also Relentless Intrigue, I believe. Unless it's Seamless Notions. It's one of those two. I can't remember. I should check before I do this. Anyway, all right. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Cassie. Thanks for sharing your pieces. You don't even need the cover poem every time. Okay, sorry, let me spotlight here. Give me a second. That's yeah. Okay, cool. Zoom. I've used it before. Sorry. I'm a little flustered. It's finals week and I'm trying to like deal with student emails right now too. So anyway, we're gonna go from Canada to Washington, D.C., where we have the one, the only Mr. Fantastic. It's Ed Poetastic. Ed, when you're ready, go ahead and turn on the camera and I will spotlight you. Woo. Hey
Sorry
Ed,
about
what's going
that.
on, man? Hey.
Uh, Nothing much, just enjoying everyone's company. And again, happy birthday to you. Happy belated birthday to you. Hey, happy belated birthday to you. Love you. Woo. All right. My name is Ed Potastic. Sorry. My name is Ed Potastic of Aero Film Fantastic. Please time to join my rhyme. Follow the blind. I got 3 poems. I won't take too much time. My first poem is Motherly Love for Mother's Day. When I was a boy, you're my nurse, teacher, and friend. Now that I'm older, I still can't fully comprehend. How can one woman always be there for me? She did what she could, even I could see. We're the fruit, while moms are the trees. Moms are always the busiest of the worker bees. There is no love like a mother's heart, a love that lives and breathes in our art. And mother's love never changes for all time. It only gets stronger and stronger while it shines. Moms need to be celebrated each and every day. Without them, where could we run, stay, or play? If you don't have your mom, but only your dad, it's okay. Love them too and don't be sad. Moms have hearts full of devotion, dedication, and affection that never ends. A river of love always flows over, and over again. We're a big part of her while she's a big part of you. I think that's why we're red and rarely blue. Mom, you're not just my mother, but also my dad. You're an experience that no kid could ever have, which made me glad. Moms, thank you for not stop loving us. Don't worry, all this love isn't going to make us bust. Moms, there are no easy words for how much we love you. Hope these words resonate and stick inside you like glue. Thank you so much for answering our big and little calls. Your immeasurable love, moms, and we thank you for it all. Thank you. The other one's called Conjurer of Hand. This is for a 30 to 30 poetry challenge. Conjurer of Hands. It's hard to create. Dinner debate. Keep us awake. Not as sweet as cake. I want to break, but my heart aches. Bodies at the stake. Crying vivid lakes. Let's ask God. I know it's odd. Not to be broad, it is flawed. What do you mean? Some are fiends, being so mean, face so green, hearts tiny beans, living wildly crazy, minds very hazy. It's nobody's fault. Hitting with salt. They're all adults, deserve some jolts. I know humanity to their vulgarity, but great tenacity towards our virtuality. They educate us. We won't rust. Don't be dust or wrapped in lust. Create with heart, with your art. You're the spark to reach the mark. Thank you. My last one is called Draw in the Smudge. We created by Earth, the dirt a rebirth. We're her seeds. We breed, she bleeds. Straight by our mud, soaking in the floods. We're flowers in her image, roots are any limits. We don't show you love. Your voices are winds above. We feel your earthquakes while it painfully aches. We see your thunderstorms, your frantic cries as a newborn. We touch your hurricanes, the wails of growing pains. We drink your tsunamis, the water cleans your body. We hear you, our mother. We feel your thunder. Yes, we understand and do. Sorry to be a burden to you. A mother's work is never done. Thank you for being our son. Forgive your uprooted trees. We are pieces of your humanity. Thank you.
Cool, Ed. That one threw me off. Hey, so how can people follow and support your work online?
Sure, my brother, like no other word like thunder. You can follow me by supporting me online while coming to this open mic that makes our money like such delight in the wonderful fantastic spotlight. All right. But if you want to follow me, please feel free. My Facebook is Eddie Foreman and my IG is 8492. And remember, if this mic is right, I'll be there to share my fantastic insight. If you're sending me requests, you take guests. The answer is yes. Hope everyone stay healthy, safe, and blessed. Now start speaking the one words inside your chest. Now start feeling and doing and being your best. And always remember that you're more important than you ever know. Don't stop your flow and never stop your glow. If you don't know, now you know. I love this show.
There it is. Thank you, Ed. As always, it's kind of like a bonus poem, right? At the end with every sign off. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and bring up our last performer, who is still setting up. So let me stall a little bit till we get the thumbs up. It's always a surprise when he knows he's going on. So really quick, this week, if you guys want to find us around town, Tuesday we will be at Mona Bar. Wednesday we will be at Crown of Crows, which is also downtown, and Thursday we will be at Rally Point Coffee on the east side, over there by Montana and Rich Beam. Okay, Dan, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, it is Dan the Man.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully you guys have a safe and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And that includes you, Robin. And who else? Anybody else I know? Okay. All right. I'm gonna make this quick. Okay. Well, looks like I'm some kind of it looks like this room is getting a bit warmer. Well, it looks like according to Snow in Farm, and that's the yeah. And not like a well, who can forget the performer? Well, even though you look like the transformer, not like a reformer. Well, kind of like a former. Well, I don't know if it's conformer or kind of like a bench warmer. Yeah. Okay. But even though a poetry is reborn but not unborn, but even though uh, but as of right now it's Taurus, not Capricorn. Cancer a month away, but still not Capricorn. It's like a bobsled of Matterhorn. It's like it's some sort of a unicorn. It is well known. It is like it's like well known to scorn. Yep. So like and like every rose has its like according to Poison, every rose has its thorn. sings a sad, sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Eh, Yeah, okay. Um, okay. Well, we still have the task force. And yep, salute to the Air Force. And yep, here goes the rocking horse. And here goes the collision course and matter of course. Yep. Okay. Once again, my rabbit. Yep. I don't know if I'm available for Thursday. I was hoping to jet to the east side to check it out, but even though um maybe I'll try, but because I gotta take my mom to the airport because she's gonna be going to Florida to see my nephew's graduation and to stick around for my young nephew's birthday, second birthday. Unfortunately for me, I can't go. I have a lot of things to do here. I wish I could go, but I can't. That's a long story. Oh, okay, guys, just follow me on Instagram. I'm in the middle of trying to upload the special edition interview I did last month for the Las Cruces International Film Fest. So I'll keep you guys posted. Okay, guys. All right. Well, with all the light and without the fight, well, the fight night was last Saturday. I don't know who won, but there's no fight at all. But at least it's still the light. Okay, Richie, let's go ahead and call it a night.
All right, cool. That was a segue. All right, cool. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. Shout out to everyone in the live chat who hung out with us today. Hale, Brooke, Sandy. Hey, Julian's in the chat. A bunch of you guys, like Ed was there as well. I saw Kit earlier. Thanks for hanging out with us. Again, if you can hang out with us Tuesday night at Mona Bar. Sign up starts at 8, show starts at 9. Wednesday we'll be at Crown of Crows. Bring some stories, bring some pros to share. Put your name in the goblet, and maybe you'll have your name drawn and you get to read your story out loud. That one's a chill one. It ends kind of early as well. And Thursday, of course, will be Rally Point Coffee East. Like I said, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll be back next Monday. My name is Richie, Deadwall Reveries on Instagram. See you guys. Good luck, everyone out there. Peace.